Welcome to another episode of Be Informed, a talk show created and talking about our opinions and facts. I am radio personality DJ Brian T, and we do not own the rights to this music, but I do own the rights to play this music. So, welcome once again to Be Informed.
Okay, thank you, Brian T. And now, Delana, would you go ahead and introduce our subject today?
Yes, today we'll be talking about BIBLE, basic instructions before leaving Earth. What are they? Are there any penalties? What do they look like? And we just want to know exactly what everybody thinks that their instructions are before leaving Earth.
Great, thank you, Delana. Okay, so Brian, basically there is an adultery instruction that's against the world doesn't have a good view of it, because anybody that's getting a divorce is going to have to pay or be penalized for adultery if that's the reason for the divorce. So then when you were in relationships as a younger person, because you learned as you got older differently, was it okay, or was you worried about adultery as far as your knowledge of it biblically, or you just was okay with it as living life, that you can, how many women you can deal with?
I really wasn't worried about anything. I was out there. I was a young man out there in the streets of Wisconsin, living the street life. I juggled two women in my earlier days. I had a young one that was close around my age, and I had an older one that was close around my sister's age, my older sister's age. And juggling them, and I did love both of them. I loved the older one certain reasons, for the certain reasons she did, and the younger one I loved because we had so much in common. We was at the same age. So at my age, I really wasn't thinking about, this is right or this is wrong, I shouldn't be doing this, because at that age, like I said, 18 or 19, we're thinking about conquering as much women and ceasing as much as we can. We're not thinking about marriage. We're not thinking about adultery. We're just thinking about getting out here and getting laid by the women. So it is possible to love two women at one time.
Okay, thank you, Brian. So my thing is that Jesus said in Matthew 5:17, I believe it is, that he didn't come to destroy the law, but fulfill the law. So in the law, it talks about adultery and how that we should not do it, and what the penalties are. Of course, Jesus also said, if you love me, you just keep my commandments. So, when we say basic instructions before leaving Earth, we came here to get the instructions, and then we're going to follow the instructions before we leave Earth. Everybody, especially on this panel or out there in the world, got different views about, how they want to live their life on this earth, and if it's going to be a problem. I'm trying to hurry up and get it because I hear some kind of sound. So then, Delana, did you have anything further before I asked Faith her view on it? Did you have anything further about the instructions on adultery, or if you should lay down? Did you have anything further?
No, I know that, as far as adultery goes, I just learned today that, if your spouse does commit adultery, then you're entitled to almost all of their compensation. So that's a new one. But I don't think adultery is a good thing at all in any relationship, even outside of just being married. It wouldn't be considered adultery. But I feel like the penalties that arise because of it is fair. So
okay. So then, Faith, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so Faith, with your generation, you may be viewing these things different than some of us on this panel. So when you get into a relationship, or any of your friends get into a relationship, you guys okay, or do you feel like just laying down, having sex or whatever you want to call it, is that confirming your relationship, or what do you feel about it?
Confirming a relationship? What do you mean by confirming a relationship?
Do you feel like that confirms it if you lay down, or you feel like y'all can have a relationship without laying down?
It definitely, I feel like, depends on who you talk to, but I feel like majority of my generation, especially people around my age, they do in fact want to just like lay down to like just because of like hormones.
Okay, I feel that. So then, did you recognize your uncle Brian? He literally said that he was just laying down at that age just because they was having. What did you say, Bino?
I was laying down at that age because at my age range, I was just thinking for me to get out there and get as much as I can, conquer as many women as I possibly can in Milwaukee. And that's what goes through the mind of a male at that age range of like 18, 19, 16, 17. We're out there to conquer as many, and I thought I did a pretty good job. Like I said, I had a young one around my age, and I had an older woman around my older sister Jan's age. I believe she was like 28 or 29 when I got involved with her.
Okay, so
I love both of them.
Okay, now listen, Bino, you got a daughter that's 16. What do you know? I started laying down when I was 15. So what would you tell her about laying down?
Thank God she's not into boys right now, because I don't believe I would really know how to handle it. I ask her every time I'm with her, do you got where your boyfriend at? And she tells me she don't have a boyfriend. But I know that's going to change. And when it does, there's nothing really I can do about it. I can only talk to her and tell her about being safe and being, being abstinent is the best thing, and not getting involved in sex until you're grown, because it's awful dangerous out there right now for teenagers and sex. I mean, you can get any kind of disease. Diseases are popping up all over the world, new diseases. And so I'm going to have to be more careful and to talk to her about that, and talk to her mama also.
Okay, Faith, is you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so Faith, you said it could be a lot of hormones that's causing a lot of people of your age that's laying down. But then with a lot of the people of your age, would you say, because when I was your age, it didn't matter that I knew that God said no to that. And I knew it because I was raised up in church. Well, it didn't matter because I had whatever emotions I was going through, and that's how I got with your great granddad. I don't know if he's a great or if he's just a granddad. I don't know which one he is. But the thing is, he lived across the street. I was angry. I had emotions, issues, and it was all good. And alcohol got involved, and I didn't trip. I didn't trip because what I told your auntie Lakeisha, I said, anytime I messed around, I always tell the Lord. I said, well, Lord, forgive me because I know I'm finna mess up. So I will always say that, And to me, I was holding on to grace because I'm finna introduce Keisha. Keisha gonna talk about grace. Keisha, go ahead with the grace and the law.
Well, I feel as though it's important to understand and do the laws that God had wrote for us, like in the Levitical teachings, as well as Moses' main 10 commandments that God had given him. So we learn how to live in a fulfilled life of holiness and living right and just doing right by people and God. But also because of that reason why Jesus came, because of some of the sins and the laws that we don't know, we have to repent on a daily basis because we don't know all of the laws. So therefore we have his sacrificial lamb's blood to live by grace. So we have a chance to get it right. We have a chance to learn to do right because we don't always know to do right or do better.
Okay, well, Faith, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so then I want you to answer this thinking about your generation of girls. Now, I don't know if all of the friends of yours know about God or his laws, but do you think that that even applies when you're taking action with relationships?
But
The law,
applies.
the law of God, doing the right thing.
Yeah, do you think that applies when you make your decision to have a relationship? I'm talking about you and your friends or your generation. Do you think that those laws even apply, that even your generation even thinks about those laws at all?
I mean, probably no, like probably not most of us though. I feel like also
Okay.
it depends on who you talk to.
Okay. Okay. Basically, the basic instructions is really not something that people is referring to. They're just referring to their emotions before they lay down. And now they're not looking at it maybe because it's not said enough. So what we're doing about being informed is we just want people to know that everybody got their different view on it, but let us all come together. I mean, how's the bride of Christ going to come together if we have to trip and say, oh no, you got to be Catholic, you got to be Mormon, or you got to be Baptist or whoever? We'll just come together with your opinion, just like we're doing on this show. Just be informed that that is out there. Okay?
Yes. All right. Well, the statements and comments on this show are just the opinions of this committee. So there are some facts in it, and there are, once again, our opinions. So we do not own the rights to the music that's being played on this show, and our opinions are just that, in fact, our opinions. So feel free to comment your opinion on everything or thing that we said tonight. And we thank you for listening to another episode of Be Informed.